So we all know that marriage can be hard, right? So for me and my story, I was married very young at 18 years old. And just speaking from experience, when you're 18 years old, you don't know anything about anything at all. Not even in regards to marriage, but anything in life. You think you know everything, and then as you get older, you realize, wow, I didn't know anything. So the struggle from going from 18-year-old married young woman trying to grow and have a relationship with my husband, who was also the same age, had just turned 19 when we got married. And I mean, you're still growing up together, you are. And so there's struggles, and you're trying to find who you are. You grow apart, you grow together, you go apart, you go together. And maybe there's hurts from the past that, keep popping up, flaring up, causing issues, and you just want to give up. It's every single marriage, there's been a point, and if you say there never has been, you've either been not married long enough, or you're lying to yourself or to everyone else. So just gonna throw that out there. But there comes a point when, if you reach that breaking point, it's super, like, you almost convince yourself that everything would just be easier if you gave up, and that nothing can stop you. Like, you're just done, you're done, and you've had enough, you deserve better than this, and no matter if you were the one who did anything wrong, like, you just don't deserve what's happening to you right now. And so every time that point would come in my life where I thought that I had had enough and I was done, I was just gonna give up, Joe and Donna would come into my life, and God would bring them to my life. If you're not a believer, it just, at this point, it doesn't matter. Marriage is a union between you and that person, and it's going to be a struggle regardless, right? And you have to work at it, whether you're Christian or not. Marriage is hard work. But for my story, I do believe in God, and I do believe that every time I would be ready to throw in the towel, Joe and Donna would be somehow right there, and not because they were even trying to, but God would bring them into my life, whether it was, I was going on a trip and to see them and they were going to be there, or they were coming to see me, and these trips were planned maybe a year or 6 months in advance. And at the time, I didn't know what was laid out before me. I didn't know that they would be like a monumental change for me and redirecting me without even realizing. Like, just literally their presence alone would be working on my soul. And they're incredible, and they're not biased. They truly have a compassion for people, and they want to see you succeed. And even without, like, they weren't literally counseling me and my husband. They were just being themselves, and that alone was leading me back the right direction. And I felt like God was trying to steer me back to my husband, and to realize this is the family that I do want to be in. This is what I've worked so many years towards. And why give that up when you've worked so hard? Why would you give it up and let someone else come in to their life, or let someone come into your life, and you got to start from scratch? Look, marriage is meant to be forever. And there was times in my life where I really didn't care that the Bible wanted, that the Bible said this, the Bible said that. I was just like, I don't care. Right now, that doesn't apply to me. I don't even care, right? So I was at such a low point. And for myself, I was feeling so low that I couldn't even get out of my own funk in my mind about just anything. Like, I didn't really want to be involved with anything. I just kind of wanted to stay to myself, think my thoughts to myself, and just not even really conversate with people or anything like that. And counseling in general helped bring me back out of that. Sometimes you have to remove yourself from your current situation and maybe people that you know, because I'll tell you one thing, going to your family is not the right thing to do for your wisdom, for your life, for your marriage, everything like that, because they're always going to try to protect you or want you to get out of a situation or be biased towards you, and to want to just shove the other person out because that's what's easier, and they just, whatever's going to make you happy. Well, let me tell you what, sometimes making yourself happy is not what needs to happen. Okay, a happiness is an emotion. Emotions are fleeting. They will leave, they'll come and go. You can be happy 1 second, angry like 10 seconds later. That is an emotion. It comes, you have to find the inner joy, the peace in knowing that you're with the right person and that you're on the journey and you're doing the right thing. And so for me, this came in waves, like for years. I'm about to be next year married 10 years, and it has been the most brutal, hard, raw thing I've ever accomplished. And besides that, besides being a mother, you know, those things make you who you are. And I wouldn't take it back for the world, because I've grown into a woman from an 18-year-old teenage girl who didn't know anything or didn't know what she wanted for her life, into a woman who owns her own business and who's thriving with her family, happily married, experiencing true joy with my husband. He's my best friend. And I just want everybody to know that if you're in the lowest of lows right now, you can come out of it, because I'm a walking example of it. I have been to the lowest of lows where I thought I could never come back from. And God will make a way for you to find who you need to find and put whoever in your life to bring you out of that deep, dark hole that you're in. And literally, I thought counseling was for people who were just like, not for me, right? It wasn't for me. But then I came to the point where people who loved me kept saying, you need to go to counseling, you need to go to counseling. And I was just like, you need to go to counseling. You know, that's most everybody's reaction when they're told you need to go to counseling. And when I finally decided to go, even just to see if I could get my own confirmation that I was right about everything, you know, when I finally decided to go is when I came out of that darkness that had like just hovered over my life, and I found myself again. I found the freedom to be able to realize that everyone experiences emotions and everyone experiences the hardships. There's not one person that exists in this world on the planet who doesn't have a bad day. So you can't think to yourself that you're never gonna have a bad day, because it happens. People bicker, you still argue, or you still get irritated with your spouse. Those things are still gonna happen, but you can't give up, because what are you giving up as a whole? If they annoy you, or if they do something that's irritating, someone else is definitely gonna do something that's irritating. And how much worse could that possibly be in the unknown? You know what you have, you know that you made the choice to make the commitment to your spouse. And I just want to encourage you, work it out, get counseling, because it changed my life. I don't honestly know what would have happened if I didn't get counseling and I didn't receive the help from others that I was pushing away. You know, it brought me back to life. It really did. And Christ can orchestrate everything and bring you out of where you're at. And you just have to believe, even the smallest mustard seed of belief, that your life can change, and it will. I promise you. Thank you so much for listening to my testimony, and I just pray that everything works out for you. But go see a counselor, get help for whatever it is, or just to get stuff off of your chest that is not someone who already knows you, so that you can just air it out to someone who has a new, fresh perspective.